What's up, everyone? This is your host, Christopher Curtis Bowen, on this morning edition of the Christopher Bowen Show. I haven't really made a live or an offline broadcast in ages, but whatever. Might as well just make a offline broadcast. So life is good, ultimately. Lots of fun, positive, great things happening all over the world. Lots of amazing connections and developments that have to do with the productivity of how advanced technology can blend with the social environment of unity with anti-gravity and zero-point energy devices and free energy technology. And love is, of course, the true power, the most powerful force in the world, or in all that is. And life is good. I was just reading my note that I wrote on Sunday, or something like that, about how they want my rock vibe. And then I wrote other notes throughout the week. It was mostly just for myself. I didn't tell anybody, about the notes that actually, you know what? I'm just gonna read these notes. I'm just gonna read the notes that I wrote. And it was interesting. I didn't think I would actually say or tell anyone these notes, but I wrote, they want my rock vibe. The point of the directorship of Project Lightseed is to stay in this dream realm, even while the director of Project Lightseed is directing. Now do that as the director. That was also Sunday. Monday I wrote, I think there is peaking occurring at my LONDC, Lucid Operations Neverland Destiny Command. What is it? ? Monday I also wrote, it takes 5 days to instantly instill immortal courage. And then on Monday I wrote, it seems I'm so powerful I'm unstoppable. So that's what I wrote earlier this week. And today's Saturday. And might as well explain that, I'm just coming from the beach, and there is a bumblebee that literally flew straight up to me, flew around me twice, played with my right foot, or was trying to land on my right foot and then my left foot, and then flew away. And then the bumblebee came back and went straight to my Adidas bag, this Adidas bag right here, and then flew away. And then so I got the idea, maybe I should look in the bag. So I looked in the bag, and what was in the bag, one of the things I was looking for, one of the things I pulled out of my bag was whatever it's called, there's an actual name for it, but a disposable pen. One of those teal disposable pens. And I think it's Sunday Driver. So I had some Sunday Driver, one inhale of that, and then I put it back. However, I already knew that there's no battery left in the disposable pen. But I still have the disposable pen in the bag anyway. And for some reason, I was still able to get a little inhale from the disposable pen. So that's probably good news. That's a good thing. Anyway, I don't know why for all week, for the last 4 days or 5 days or whatever, 6 days, there's been insects flying all around me. Now that's not something that I would say would normally happen. I don't even know. Okay, I should explain this. First, I should explain this first. I left my house this morning I started listening to Joe Rogan podcast, the one with Mark Norman. And then I just continued walking. I took the bus, went straight to the beach, or I went straight to the Coffee Bean. And then I just sat there for a while because I was going to charge my phone and stuff, and just sit there for a while. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to sit here. I was like, this is too funny. I was still listening to the Joe Rogan podcast the whole time. So I was just like, well, I'm just not going to, I'm not going to stay at the Coffee Bean anymore. I'm going to walk down to the beach, just kind of relax. So I walked down to the beach, and I just laid on the beach, and I was listening to Joe Rogan and Mark Norman the whole time. And then I started laughing so hard. I forgot what he was talking about, but it was literally the funniest thing. It must have been like an hour, or when there's an hour left. Not at the an hour into it, but I think it was like when there's an hour left. When I was an hour into it, when I was an hour into the Joe Rogan podcast, I just I was walking. I just kept walking, or I was walking toward the beach at that moment in time when I was an hour into the broadcast. For some reason, I think that's important to say. Anyway, so I was laughing when I was on the beach, and it was so funny. And then after I started laughing, that's when the bumblebee came, and that's when I started remembering oh, I'm actually a lifeguard instructor. I don't know what allowed me to remember that, but I wasn't aware. It's the weirdest thing, but I wasn't aware that I was a lifeguard instructor, sort of thing. I just wasn't thinking about it. I would think that that's something that you would think when you would go to the beach and think about lifeguards and stuff, or think about the water, or think about water activities or something like that. I would think that I would remember about me being a lifeguard instructor, but I wasn't really thinking about being a lifeguard instructor until I was a few minutes into the broadcast. And it was interesting because I noticed, I thought it was so funny because I was thinking about Eric Kahn. I was thinking about, maybe they're talking about Eric Kahn, or maybe they're talking about, or that's what was going on in my mind. Maybe they're talking about, what Eric Kahn sort of whateverness. And I kind of thought they were making fun of that, but also being accepting of it. But more uniquely, before, right after I started laughing, there was nobody around me. And then people started trickling in, and then I just put on my shoe, or I started walking back up the beach, and then put on my shoes, and then now I'm still walking up to I'm thinking about going to the restaurant. I'm thinking about going get some food, eat at El Gringos. And I think that'll be fun. So what's interesting is that I completely, for some reason, believed in this dream that I had. And in this dream, I was literally at some big store. My dad was the cashier in the dream when I was asleep. And there's this kid who came up to me, and we talked a little bit, and I was just communicating telepathically. And he gave me a hug, and then just in my mind I heard oh, they must be talking about your fame. And then so immediately after the kid gave me a hug, I went back to his mom. There's another woman who went up to me and just started talking. And I was just oh yeah, they must be talking about my fame. Or telepathically, that's what I was thinking. I was well, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to really be concerned about or anything like that. But then I was like, to be honest, I was so happy and so excited that I woke up and I had to like write it down. So I woke up and I wrote it down in my little notebook thing. And that's pretty much what happened the first thing this morning. And I've been saying that, like, I just have, like, dreams stuff. But honestly, it's too exhausting to even talk about. Because I say, which is, I know there's got to be newness. And I just, like, oh, there's instant newness. So that I don't have to be in dream mode anymore. Or I don't have to be in dream speed or dream seeding or anything like that anymore. But the thing is, like, since I've been in this the dream mode and all that stuff, I've been, what was I going to say? I've been either consciously aware of everything or just extremely consciously aware of myself. And I'm trying to say it can't be both. I'm trying to say I can't be overly conscious about myself and I can't be overly conscious about consciousness itself. But I think that's what's happening. And here's why I think that's what's happening. Just something, like, in a way I could say that was my goal. Like, it was my goal when I wrote in 2014 or something like that I wanted, like, we have the ability to, like, live our dreams and, you know, we can wake up to our dreams and wake up in our dreams and, you know, wake up to that success sort of thing. And it's not to say that I don't believe that, but, you know, at that time when I wrote that, I believed in what I was becoming and I wanted to do that sort of fun thing. And I just, you know, had the freaking idea at that time, and I just believed in the anchorman, or I'll just call it directorship. I believed in the directorship of Project Lightspeed, and I believed in, you know, because the directorship is real, or it's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to convince anyone that the directorship is real. That's not what I'm trying to convince. It's ridiculous. Why do I try to convince something? Anyway. The directorship, I had fun with all this summer. I was literally, like, the director of Project Lightseed, and I was living life like I wasn't, necessarily the broadcaster that I am. Like, I didn't have to be the anchorman, because I didn't have Wi-Fi, so there's no point in recording broadcasts every night up in the mountains, wherever I was. And so I was like, well, I can go all out because I believe in the directorship of Project Lightseed, not just as a director, but, you know, as someone who's actually involved in Project Lightseed. And what would I do as someone who is, like, for lack of a better word, like an employee or a worker or a employer? I mean, not employer, or employee or anything. Like, what would I do if I was a member of Project Lightseed, you know? And that's what I did. And I had that fun and I believed in the greatness I did. Anyway. So I went to the beach and I feel like I have to have perceptions. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like, I have to perceive perceptions of perception, perceiving perception, in order for me to not have a habitual dream state habit that I have that I've been trying to get rid of. The thing is, like, ever since I had that dream about the plane, me and the plane was free falling in the sky, and I've been trying to not have my mind or anything in my body focused on dreams. I was trying to not be caught in some ridiculous cycle of ultra amazingness and whatever. And the thing is, like, the amazing feeling that I felt when I was shopping was nothing compared to the amazing, was much more powerful compared to the feeling that I had in the dreams. But at the same time, I was awake in my dreams and everything was happening in the dream, but it seemed more familiar or something. It just wasn't as emotion feeling as the feeling I had when I went shopping. So, and I just don't seem to focus on anything, is what I would say. I was thinking like over and over and over. Like it was almost like thinking like really loudly, like, am I a comic or am I not a comic? Do I want to be a comic or do I not want to be a comic, you know? Is comedy my thing or is comedy not my thing? And then and then I looked to my right and I saw the lifeguard. And I remembered, oh, I'm a lifeguard instructor. Oh, I'm actually able to be a lifeguard on this beach. And then I realized, oh, I can kind of blend in with the fact that I'm a lifeguard instructor. And lifeguards can lifeguard the ocean or something like that. Lifeguards can lifeguard the water. And the thing is, like, I wasn't even thinking about that. But at the time, like, what is it? Am I thinking, like, oh, I can actually save people because I'm a lifeguard? I can save people's lives? Or am I just, like, this is what's going on in my mind. Or am I just here on the beach just to be myself and just kind of wait and rest here and kind of, you know, just have a good time on the beach. Just kind of relax and stuff. And at the time, I was imagining that I had, like, which is true, you know, I was imagining that I had, like, a family or I had, like, kids, and I was just chilling on the beach as a comic for the retarded brilliance that already exists in the habits that I formed in terms of, like, just the fact that I am a great comic. And the thing is, like, do I believe that? Do I believe in what Joe Rogan said, that I'm a good comic? Or do I believe in the idea that I should still be a comic? Like, I don't know. But the thing is, like, I don't think it matters when there's, like, bumblebees flying around me. It just doesn't seem to really make sense to me. So I just continue the fact that I think that, oh, if I should still be a lifeguard instructor, then in a way I still have a profession, and that's my profession. Is that something that I really want to do? Is that something that's like a part of me? Like, do I want to be a lifeguard instructor? Like, do I want to be the anchorman of my own show? Do I want to continue to inspire the legacy of just the ridiculousness of, oh, I'm going to enhance media. I'm going to enhance movies. I'm going to enhance TV shows. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. It doesn't seem to make sense to me at all. The thing is, like, okay, whatever. If I were to accept that greatness, you know, just with the things I did as the directorship in terms of however much he believes, for example, whatever, dude. Not only however much Eric Kahn believes, not that it matters, but however much Eric Kahn believes in the form of marketing that is the, whatever, intergalactic corporate conglomerates, for lack of a better word, scale. And I'm not saying that it's a scale, or that it's a measurement, or that it's a culture. In a way, I don't really know what it is. But I just know that which is kind of ridiculous to talk about, but when I believe that, you know, when I believe in my inner being, and when I have him as my inner being, you know, I keep him inside, you know, inside of me, and there's, you know, I feel like I don't have to explain that. But I feel I support my inner being. And it's like, oh, if I support my inner being in the way and the love that I express, then all these things are already present in my inner being. So am I going to agree that I want to be a comic? Am I going to agree that I want to be a comedian or the director of Project Lightspeed? Like, I'm not even sure why I would be so passionate about it. If when I found out yesterday, all those things are already innately intrinsic, and I just manifested some directorship of Project Lightseed again and again and again. Or I just manifested the truth of all the, let's just call it inspiration for lack of a better word, all the inspiration that existed from what I wrote into Project Lightseed as the director of Project Lightseed, with like the joy of being a rock star at the same time. But the thing is, like, I don't really pay too much attention to the fact that I'm a rock star or that I have a rock star vibe until I read the notes that I wrote on Sunday. And I already said, oh, Rock Vibe. That's the title. It seems so powerful. It seems I'm so powerful, I'm unstoppable. It takes 5 days to instantly instill immortal courage. I think there is peaking occurring at my Illinois DC. Lucid Operations, Neverland, Destiny Command. What is it? And whatever other notes I wrote. So, do I even believe in like, oh, I should continue to be a rock star and I should continue to be a comic? And do I just laugh at the whole situation? Or do I actually think that I'm a good comic and I can brilliantly make fun of people as a brilliant comic and the director of Project Lightseed, and I mean, like what? Like what's so funny about the weird comedy that I do? And that's the thing, like, it's funny. But like I really don't care. I really don't have a desire to continue this stupidity. And the thing is, I call it stupidity because it's literally the same sort of awareness, dream awareness. It doesn't disappear. This dream awareness of just whatever thoughts manifest in my heart and whatever thoughts manifest in my mind. It's like, I don't know how to say it. It's not annoying because I guess I could call it a cool superpower, but it's annoying. I find it annoying. And I feel like that's a revolutionary thing to say. I mean, if people actually, and this is going to sound so funny, but if people actually believe in Mark Norman, and what I really mean is, like, if people actually believe in, well, let's just start slow. If people actually believe in what he said, you know, the things that Mark Norman say and the things that Joe Rogan says, you know, there would be some sort of collaboration of something. But it seems like if Joe Rogan is, and this is from my perception, which I hope is wrong, but if Joe Rogan does agree with the fact that, you know, we should keep the 10 strongest people, and like have this 10 strongest people, and does support the marketing strategy of Eric Kahn, then I'm going to do what I did, which is laugh at it. And laugh really, really hard. And apparently, maybe I don't know what other people are thinking, or maybe I don't know what other people's experiences are. Let's pretend I don't know what other people's experiences are. Either way, for some reason, the law of attraction comes flying at me. There was literally a bumblebee. A freaking bumblebee that flew all the way to the beach to me. Did 2 circles around me. Dude, I just don't, I literally, I feel like I don't care. I literally don't care. It's like I literally, oh, it's like I literally don't care. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go eat food. And actually, that was the whole purpose of life. No, not the whole purpose of life. That was the whole purpose of my own personal adventure. Like, I want to be able to affirm, which is what I'm now reaffirming over and over and over and over, affirming abundance of food. Because me personally, pretty much my entire life, I haven't been able to sustain myself because I cannot afford to eat. I can't afford to, and this is me pretending to complain, I can't afford to, there's no point in doing it, dude. There's no point in saying that. I gotta deny abundance in order to say that I can enter into some form of life that I can already have. It's like, what I'm saying is double negatives, but they exist anyway. So am I just gonna deny the double negatives of, I don't even know what to say. Am I just gonna deny the adventure that I had and then agree with the ridiculousness of the fact that I'm not an inspirational being? Or am I just going to be someone who just submits to reality and just says, I'm going to do everything that you tell me? And that means that I don't believe in abundance. Does that make any sense? Like, I already mastered that the fact that there should be abundance in the world in terms of what we can eat. So what happened in 2013, 2014, 2015? I was eating as a college student. But could I afford to pay for college and eat? No. Alright, so I left college, finished college, or whatever, that whole session there, and I went to live on my own. Could I afford to work and eat? No. I would always get hungry. Moved to Chicago. Can I afford to work and eat? No. Or I moved to, what's it called? I moved to Florida. Can I afford to work and eat? No. I moved back to California. Can I afford to work and eat? No. So, do I just lie to myself and say, I'm going to work so hard that I can afford to eat? Or am I just going to continue to revolve my life around being able to eat? I mean, since I'm believing for some reason, which I'm not, if I'm believing that I have to revolve my life around work so that I can eat, that would mean that I don't believe that there are advanced civilizations existing in inner Earth. And if I don't believe that there are inner Earth civilizations, that means I'm lying to myself. And do I want to lie to myself? No. So, what does it mean to not be able to eat? And this is just me complaining. It doesn't matter what I say, it's just things are going to happen regardless. And then I'll just, I guess, reiterate or whatever fun is happening with that. But if I eat, if I eat, because this is something that actually happened on whatever day that was, when I went to New Vegas seafood buffet or whatever, and I, started eating food, I was asked if I could pay for the meal. And I said, yes, I can pay for the meal. And I paid for the meal. So, I'm not sure why I would believe that there is no abundance when I already had achieved something that I was able to achieve. Um, I don't know. I don't know why I would waste time. This is so exhausting. I'm so tired, dude. It's just exhausted, dude. It's just exhausted. I don't even want anything anymore. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like I don't want anything. But no one's going to understand that because I've been fighting for something for so long that it just ends up being in the consciousness of what I inspired myself to become at that time. And at the same time, like, it just seems like I'm appreciating an old aspect of me, or appreciating I don't know what to say. I'm appreciating an artistic side of me that I like for some reason, or like an artistic side of me that I'm attracted to. But am I really attracted to the ridiculousness of the old writings that I have, of the old, like, Facebook and the tweets that I had? And, like, is that something that's really interesting to me? Is that something that I really care about? I don't think it is. Because, like, all it is just lying to myself. It's just consistent different forms of lying to myself. There's just, I don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. I really don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, I literally just gotta say, oh, I don't understand. Oh, I don't get it. But what am I doing? Trying to develop multiple high level, whatever, dude. Just trying to not have the same dream mind, not to have the same dream state, and not to have these dream habits. But the dream habits won't go away. These dreams won't go away. And the fact that I do think I'm that powerful, or I don't think that I'm that powerful, doesn't matter. Because either way, it's what I found out today when I went to the beach. Either way, I'm a lifeguard instructor. Either way, I went through lifeguard instructor training, and I pay no attention to it. I pay no attention to the fact that I was a lifeguard instructor. Like, I didn't pay any attention to the fact that I was a lifeguard instructor all week. All week, I didn't think once about being a lifeguard instructor until I actually went to the beach, and until I actually looked at a lifeguard. Then I was like, oh, I'm actually a lifeguard instructor. I'm actually a lifeguard, you know, who's able to go to the beach and stuff. So retarded, dude. So retarded. It's like, why am I irritated then? Why am I upset? Why am I annoyed? Why do I not want to be a comedian, even though I'm a good comic, even though things are funny, you know? And even though, you know, the whole thing that I enjoyed with some weird ass connection that I have with Eric Kahn and Solera, I think that I can enjoy my own greatness and my own courage that I had. And I look back at all my texts, or not my texts, I look back at all my freaking tweets and all my freaking Facebook messages, and it's all about this stuff. Oh, this, like, I believe in courage. You know, if you believe in the truth, that's fearlessness, you know. If you believe in fearlessness, no, then you'll be fearless, you know. If there's no such thing as fear and only love is real. So, like, I'm reading all this stuff. I'm reading all this, rereading it. And I'm like, what the fudge? Did I literally, and I'm tired of saying the same things. 2016. Oh, did I literally create 4 companies? Or 2017, whatever. Did I literally create 4 companies? Actually, 2017. was the founder and directorship of Project Lightspeed, or founder and directorship of Miko Surface Oasis. So, am I literally just saying these 4 companies, these 4 corporations, are literally just the whatever foundation that's already been in existence in Facebook for the last 3 years? That's retarded, dude. It's annoying, and I want nothing to do with it. And I'm tired of saying that. I want nothing to do with some reality that I believe I could become. And I'm sick of it already. And so, like, I try to, like, manifest. The thing is, I'm not trying to manifest shit. I'm not trying to manifest anything. I'm not trying to manifest anything. I'm not trying to, for some reason, my mouth just said the word fine. This is going to be really confusing, because I did not mean to say the word fine, but whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that I would continuously agree with some stupid broadcasting thing that I do. There's no, like, I don't even care. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I have listeners. I don't even know if people like, but if I say I don't know, that means I don't believe in what Joe Rogan says. And the thing is, for some reason, even though, hold on one second. Even though there's a whole habit that I formed of this ridiculousness that exists with the broadcasting, for lack of a better word, network, whole broadcasting network that Joe Rogan says is the real thing. So now let's pretend to take it to the next level before we take it to the next level. Let's pretend that people actually believe their broadcast is a real thing and that people actually listen to my broadcast and listen to my podcast. Let's pretend that I have a listenership. Let's pretend that I have that whole broadcasting thing. Let's pretend I have that. Let's pretend that I'm the anchorman of the Christopher Bowen Show. Is it literally true that they're just saying nothing? Is it literally true that they're actually giving their all, or are they just not giving their all? I mean, okay, now let's pretend that the broadcasting is a real thing, and the broadcasting. Are they really listening and following the new innuendos of the culture, or whatever that means? Not that there are innuendos, but not that there aren't innuendos, or whatever innuendos could be. Like, is there really even a I don't even know what to say, dude. I'm tired of it. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of discovering. I'm so tired of it. I'm so freaking tired of it, dude. What else can I say? What else can I do? What else can I do? What else do I want to do? Am I just going to make fun of people? Am I just going to be a hilarious comic? Am I just going to pretend to be a lifeguard instructor that I went through the training? Am I just going to pretend that I've believed in this greatness within me and that I have to walk through life like I don't know a thing in order for anything to happen? Anything to happen that has to do with transformation or progress or high vibrational energies or fun. Dude, it's not like I want to be a comic, but it's not like I don't want to be a comic. Like, the thing is, I could just be a comic. And it's like, oh, well, the starving artists never make a lot of money, Starving artists, they're always just broke and, don't have a lot of money, or do have a lot of money, then they don't have a lot of money, or, they're really good at the artwork and the paint, and then, dude, what, am I literally just going to pretend to be an artist so I can make fun of myself, or am I just going to pretend to be an artist so I can make fun of others? I literally want nothing to do with anybody. I want nothing to do with anyone. I don't want to be the director of Project Lightseed. I don't want to be the broadcaster. I don't want to do anything of that anymore. I'm trying to get away from it. But the thing is, let's return to this truth. Just for funsies, just for the heck of it. Let's say I'm a comedian. Okay, I'm a great comedian. I'm hilarious. I have a good audience. But the thing is, if I'm a great comedian, do I believe that I'm killing it? Do I believe that people are actually having fun? Do I actually believe that people are finding it funny and laughing? That's the kind of thing that happens. Comedians have their little bits and people talk about it, and then we move on. Is that something that's actually happening? Or do I just deny the fact that I'm a great comedian and I just make fun of returning to myself and all the inner abilities that I believed in becoming at that time, and then just find it hilarious in the first place to make fun of people who would think it's actually funny that they're so pathetic? And it's not that I'm saying they're pathetic. I'm just saying that I find it funny that I believe that I was fearless for so long. And I find it funny that I actually think that I'm continuously courageous, and I think that I'm continuously fearless in everything I do. And to think that, or good comics. Let's say I actually agreed with Joe Rogan, because I almost don't want to talk about it. But let's say I agree with Joe Rogan and I'm actually killing it. And that, whatever he said, sides, whatever Mark Norman was talking about sides, and that, there's 300 people, then 200 people, and then whatever he said about 10 people being in the arena. And whatever, dude, if there's a freaking arena, I'm going to pretend to be annoyed. That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to pretend to be annoyed. I'm going to pretend that I literally, weeks ago, I literally said I want the 10 strongest people, and we're all together and we're having this little thing of progress. And he called it an arena, and see, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, killing it. Let's just believe that I'm actually killing it. Let's believe that, as a great as a great comic, that all my jokes, all my bits, or whatever the heck it is, all my bits are absolutely hilarious. And that all my freaking worth ethic, or the things that I don't even write, because I don't like the fact that I don't need to write a freaking card or freaking notes or freaking a little paper on a freaking improv bit that I have to memorize for a show that I want to perform, that I quote want to perform. I don't need to write anything. I could just be a funny comic and not have to write about it. I could just be hilarious and not have to write about it. Not have to make a freaking comedy skit or make a freaking thing. And that's the thing, I know that comedy is that great. I know that my comedy is that extraordinary. I can just go on stage and do improv. I can actually do my perception. I can do my perception of improv, which is improvisation. I don't think you need to. By saying I don't think you need to write for your improv stand-up, I'm saying, okay, let me rephrase this. By saying that I don't need to write for improv stand-up, I'm saying that if you write, never mind, dude, I don't even know how to say it. Isn't the fun of comedy to not have to write the freaking show before you perform the show? Like, why do I have to believe in some construct of comedy that... And the thing is, I don't. And what? Do I believe in the comics and that they make me fun, or that make laughter and that make jokes? Do I believe in the fact that they're funny? I probably, of course, I believe in the fact that they're funny. But what's funnier, dude? What's funnier than the fact that they're just pathetically ridiculous, doing all the ridiculous amount of funny things that they do as comics, or the fact that they are struggling to survive in a world where they don't have to be attacked by every funny thing they said? And the thing is, it's not the latter. Okay, Joe Rogan. Let's pretend that the 10 people, the 10 strongest people or whatever in the arena or whatever, aren't actually... Like, let's pretend that Mark Norman is one of them, and let's pretend like I don't know who those people are. And let's not pretend that Joe Rogan is one of them. That's just saying that we don't know who those 10 people are. But why would something like that manifest again in my reality so I could just laugh about it? Why would I just say, oh, we have the 10 strongest people together all in one spot, now we're just gonna make fun? Like, it's interesting. I never actually wanted to be a comedian when I had that broadcast in that early morning, like right after 12 or something, right after midnight. I'm not saying that like that's my sort of session thing that I do. That's my like sesh, like, oh, we're just gonna get together, guys. We're gonna be the 10 strongest people in the world, and we're just gonna claim domination. Dude, that's literally not what I was trying to say. So it's literally so funny that it's just literally so funny that I don't even seem to have a pretend care. Like let's have fun here. A pretend care. A new definition. A pretend care is when you believe... Oh, I actually don't need a... Actually, yeah, the microphone's here. No, actually, I don't know if... Okay, there we go. Just gonna put my phone in my pocket. Let's pretend that there's something called a pretend care. Let's pretend I had a pretend care. Pretend care. So let's be somewhat realistic with this. A pretend care is the fact that a lifeguard instructor going to the beach on his day off. That's a pretend care. The anomaly, or anomaly is not a good word. The analogy of people drinking water, but in the water is the human population. That's a pretend care. Food. Saying food like it's actually people, that's a pretend care. Or saying food is a habit of a certain scale of attractiveness, of magnetic attractiveness. That's a pretend care. Or a freaking news network that tells that's not a good example, but a broadcasting that doesn't make any sense. How about actually, yeah, we'll use that analogy. A broadcasting network that gives news about culture. That's a pretend care. The types of things that I would normally expect or would unnormally expect from being the broadcaster of my own show or being the broadcaster of Project Lightseed doesn't seem to make any sense, especially when relating to aspects that have absolutely nothing to do with any form of potential that's involved in what everything that's not in Project Lightseed is involved with. I'm not saying that comedy is like something that I excel at and that I wish to excel at. I'm not saying that I'm not able to support myself for the rest of my life as a comedian. Because that is what is so funny to me. That's actually what is hilarious, is that I can get paid to make people laugh, but I can live my life without having to be a comic and without having to get paid to make people laugh. And that could be considered a blow to comedians, because comedians spend their whole lives, well, not their whole lives, I'm not saying that comedians, that I enslave all comedians or anything like that, but comedians would spend their whole lives, or just spend their life, and I feel like this analogy has already been talked about, but comedians spend their life making money and making people laugh. And the thing is, that's what's so funny about it, is I believed, which is somewhat a dangerous thing, which we already, well, at least 3 of us, and it might even be a belief, but that Joe Rogan and Mike Norman and me believe that making fun of people for a living isn't necessarily the degradation of culture. It's, even though there is a lot of making fun of the things that I wrote, the things that I think are funny, which is the ridiculousness of what people can actually get trapped in and enslaved in and stuff like that. Like when we were talking about racism, or when they were talking about racism, it's funny how I just say we were talking about racism, but how there's also the fact that, people are, whatever what's his name said, whatever Norman said, people are just people. And the thing is, it's like he's funny, but he's not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to say that he's not funny, but I'm trying to say, it's hilarious that I think that there's a freaking that it's so funny that people are still talking about it. People are still talking about the tweet that I had, and maybe it's not related to me, and maybe it's not all about me, and that's probably the funniest part. But it can be played with, it could be had fun with. That doesn't make any sense. Comedy isn't just about making fun of people. It's about being the self, I think. Dude, I don't know the perspective of comedy, or the perspective of comics in terms of what comics perceive as intellectually, or not, it doesn't even have to be intellectually great comedy, but as great comedy, or as good comedy. And it just seems funny because it seems so hilarious that there's and I could be wrong, but it seems so funny that there's an actual culture that revolves around something that has to do with food, and has to do with hot sauce, and has to do with ingesting food into your body, and spiciness, and that's not even a thing. Do I have to relate to something? Do I have to relate my reality to someone else's reality? Do I have to say that in order to be a comedian, I have to agree with what other people tell me to eat? I have to agree with what other people tell me to eat in terms of style or whatever. I don't know why, and this sounds ridiculous and probably revolutionary, but I don't know why I have to think that I have to adopt my own culture and create my own culture, create my own food. But more importantly, it's I do agree with the fact that I shouldn't that I shouldn't be a dictator. I agree with the fact that I shouldn't enslave everybody in terms of food. But at the same time, I do agree that I need to eat food. But at the same time, all of today, I was just I just want to eat and not be bothered. But I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to be happening. I don't think that's going to happen because unless I have my own farm and produce my own food, I'm going to have to connect with other people to get food. And the thing is, what I seem to be hilariously complaining about is I want to eat food. That's so weird. I want to be able to eat food without anybody coming up to me. I want to be able to eat without being bothered. I want to have as much food as I want to eat without anyone having to come up to me with anything having to do with food. And it just seems like, why should I even bother with what other people believe in terms of how important food is? And the answer is because I'm a funny comedian? No. It's because I'm hungry and want food? No. The thing is, I think I actually have to make my own farm. I think I'm going to have to take those steps. Because that's what I realized could be a huge issue. Like, all my life, like 25 years, I've had to eat what other people like make. I've had to eat from what other people's gardens come from. I had to eat from other people's gardens, sort of thing. I had to eat their food. And for 25 years, I've had to do that. I've had to eat other people's food. And I realized that if I want to live, I'm going to have to make my own farm. I'm going to have to make my own garden. And it just seems like I'm not going to be able to sustain myself any other way. So I guess that's pretty fun, pretty intelligent. It was interesting. I wanted to make this broadcast not necessarily around comedy, because at the same time I think there is something important that I should do with my life, as funny as that sounds. I feel like there's something that whatever, dude. I don't even care, dude. I don't even care, dude. I don't understand, like, why I have to go through this process of self-discovery just to discover that I'm innately who I am, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But I'm innately, like, I'm innately wanting to be courageous, but, like, when I choose not to be courageous, that's when I feel like I'm not having as much fun. And, you know, I actually like to be courageous, and I like to have fun. And and that's actually the truth that I didn't really say. When I want to have fun, and fun, I just means in terms of, like, fun as in, like, trailblazing, as in, like, courage, as in, like, going to the frontier and creating stuff. And I say that I want to be on the frontier because I want to create a galactic society that I convinced myself I could create when I created that company in 2016, and just believed in it for some reason for so long. And then I shifted that way of thinking because I was reading some news, and I just, you know, kind of changed my perception of how I should view life, how I should view 3D life, and how I actually have an important role to play, because this is like the third dimension. But it's weird, like, I would always be so strict and resilient in the fact that I believe in being a freaking being who's like a ambassador, or like a freaking, I don't know, like a freaking universal ambassador to or to the Earth, or for planet Earth. And I'm not sure that liberty is along the lines, or on the lines of allowing galactic anything, allowing galactic communication, allowing galactic connection. It's not that I want to talk about the galaxy. I don't. It's just the fact that when I read news and when I try and discover what people want, and I try to be a better person based on what would be best as the best possible reality I could create as an ambassador, even if I wasn't an ambassador, I would feel like that's something that I already have a connection with, because I've mentioned and I've had conversations. It's ridiculous, dude. I don't even know why I talk about it. I don't even know why I talk about the galaxy. I don't even know why I care about the galaxy so much. I really don't. I really don't care about the galaxy. Apparently. So it's an hour and a half after that store opened, which is where I was going to go to get my usual bud and stuff, because I really love bud. And that's just something I secretly have been doing. I haven't really told anybody about, oh, I'm going to the store, I'm just going to go on my own sort of journey. I'm going to go smoke some delicious bud in at my favorite store. And I would just kind of travel. Well, not travel, but I did. See, I don't want to do that anymore. But yeah, it was something that I did. What am I even saying? I traveled to not northern California, but I traveled to Northern California. And I had some fun with echoing, as in terms of I had some fun with echoing reality, for lack of a better word. Just echoing consciousness, all over America and all over the world. But more importantly, to America, because all summer, even before the summer, I knew I had the ability to communicate with Japan, or not Japan, but the UK and France. And I had fun with that all year. I had fun with the amazing amount of joy that exists between the relationship, the invisible relationship, or the untold of relationship, or the secret relationship that I have with France and the UK, with the tide of video games that I had. And I didn't really tell anybody, until I started telling them. And even when I told them, or when I would chat, for example, in the river streams, which is something I thought I created, which is something I didn't create. Me denying the fact that I created river streams. I didn't create the new connections to all these different countries to do the same thing that I did earlier this year, And the thing is, it could be perceived that I'm doing the same, which is ridiculous to say. It could be perceived that I'm doing the same things that I did in the beginning of this year, which kind of isn't true, because I've been going on my little errands to and from the dispensaries, or to and from my house, or to and from where I was staying, or to and from where I was living, and to and from where I was. Oh, it's too exhausting, dude. It's too exhausting. Anyway, going back to and from the house that I was living in to just the location that I was staying, which it just realizes, or I just realized, I'm becoming to realize that I have a sense of awareness that is unaware of the awareness that I have, but it's starting to become the awareness that I have, which is probably more important than anything. Anyway, that's what I did. I would go on very, 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 very long errands all over the different areas I would go to. I would go to Lomita. I would go to freaking Redondo, Hermosa, Manhattan, Hawthorne, Lawndale, Torrance, all these different places to go to these different freaking dispensaries to do the thing that I was doing in well, not even in January and February and March, but in the spring, and then just somehow had the courage to say that, oh, for some reason I'm gonna not only enter the world of video games as a being who's just a freaking gamer, but I'm gonna enter the world of video games as a designer of video games and creating my own video game, and I'm going to express the love that I have for this video game and just believe that there will be people who love the video game so much that they'll actually be committed and like the video game and be a part of the video game and spend their life and time on the video game. And then in freaking, that's just, let's just not even talk about the streams. And then in the fall, I would communicate in terms of going to because it's my own sort of thing that I want to do. I would just go to dispensaries and freaking, where was I going with that? Oh, I would go to dispensaries with the insight or the intent of being a video game gamer who can connect reality through gaming and connect with other people through gaming through this online world. And hold on. Probably just gonna end this broadcast short. This is gonna be the end of this broadcast. I'll probably make another broadcast tonight or something. I really actually don't like broadcasting anymore. Broadcasting is stupid. It's a stupid form of media that I don't like anymore.